Oh, wow, Virgo. This energy hit me the moment I opened this reading. And I need you to understand something before we go any further into what Spirit is showing me today. Because what came through when I sat down to read for Virgo is not subtle. It is not layered in a way that requires careful unwrapping before the core of it becomes visible. It landed immediately, fully formed, with the specific force of something that has been building for a long time and that has finally reached the point where it can no longer be contained in the interior of one person's experience. Someone is a mess over you. And I say that with the full, precise, not as a compliment, but as an accurate description meaning of the phrase. Not pleasantly wistful. Not quietly missing you from a place of relative stability. A genuine, undeniable, nothing is working the way it used to mess. The kind that happens when someone loses something so significant that the ordinary machinery of their daily life simply cannot continue functioning at its previous level without the presence that has been removed from it. You left, and they cannot believe it is permanent. Stay with me, because this reading is tender and heavy and real, and I want to walk through every layer of it with the care it deserves. Let me begin by describing what I felt when this energy came through, because the quality of it set the tone for everything that followed. There was weight, immediate and unmistakable weight. The specific, dense, nowhere to put it quality of someone carrying something enormous without adequate support, without the presence that usually helps them carry what is heavy in their life, without you, and underneath the weight, something that surprised me in its intensity, even knowing the title of this reading, love. Not the comfortable, settled, I care about you and you know it kind of love that exists in established connections and does not require much active maintenance to remain real. The burning, active, will not let me rest, consuming kind, the kind that makes itself known at every quiet moment, that rises to the surface the instant the distractions of the day fall away, that refuses, no matter what this person does or where they direct their attention, to simply become manageable. They are crazy in love with you, and the loss of you has made the love louder rather than quieter. I want to speak to the cannot believe it is forever piece specifically, because this is the part that came through with the most insistence, and I feel it is the most significant piece of what is happening internally for this person right now. They knew you were unhappy, or they knew something was wrong, or they sensed that the distance between you had been growing in ways that were not being adequately addressed. Some part of them was aware that what existed between you was not in the state it needed to be in, was not being given what it needed to sustain itself at the level it deserved. But knowing something is strained is different from being able to imagine it ending, especially when the love is this real, especially when what you feel for someone is this consuming and this specific and this resistant to the ordinary management strategies that people apply to difficult feelings. When you love someone the way this person loves you, the possibility of permanent loss does not compute. It does not integrate into your understanding of your own future, because your future, in the way you have been imagining it without even fully realizing you were imagining it, has always had that person in it somewhere. And then the forever happened, and the impossible became real. And this person is sitting in the specific, disorienting, I cannot make this make sense reality of something they genuinely did not believe could happen, actually having happened. Um, Spirit is showing me this person's daily experience right now, and I want to describe it because I feel it very clearly. The mornings are the hardest. Before the day has established its structure, before the routine has created enough forward momentum to carry their attention away from what they are feeling. There is a window of unguardedness where the full weight of your absence lands on them without any buffer. They wake up, and for a fraction of a second, a half second of not quite conscious yet, things are as they were. And then the reality reasserts itself. And the reassertion is every morning its own small devastation. During the day, they function because functioning is what people do. Because the world does not pause for heartbreak and responsibilities do not reschedule themselves around the fact that someone is internally falling apart. They show up, they do what needs to be done. They interact with the people around them in ways that probably do not fully reveal the interior state they are navigating. But the people who know them well have noticed something, a quality of being not entirely present, of going somewhere else in the middle of conversations, of laughing a beat too late or responding a fraction too slowly, the signs of someone whose primary attention is not in the room they are physically occupying but somewhere else entirely, somewhere in the direction of you. I want to speak to what this person has been doing with the love that no longer has a direct outlet, because the love is still fully present, still completely real, still producing everything it produced when you were accessible to them. And with the normal channel of its expression removed, it has had to go somewhere. They have been going over things, replaying the specific memories that carry the most vivid texture of what it felt like to be with you. Not just the significant moments, the ordinary ones, the unremarkable exchanges that did not seem worth preserving at the time, but that now exist in their memory as some of the most precious things they have. The specific way you laughed at something, the quality of your attention when you were genuinely engaged, the small, unguarded moments that revealed the interior of you that you did not always make available. They are torturing themselves with these memories, Virgo, not because they want to, because the memories arrive without invitation and refuse to leave when asked, because you made impressions in them that are simply too vivid and too specific to fade on the timeline that would make this more bearable. And alongside the memories, the questions, the specific, circular, never fully answerable questions that heartbreak produces. What could have been done differently? What was missed? What might have changed the outcome if it had been different? Whether the forever of it is actually forever, or whether there is still something possible that the current distance does not yet preclude. Does this feel like it is connecting to someone specific for you, Virgo? Have you made a decision to leave a connection, or has a connection ended, and have you sensed the weight of that loss being felt on the other side? Let me know in the comments. I want to know how this is landing for you. I want to speak now to something that I think is important and that Spirit is being very specific about. Your leaving was not nothing. I say this not to create guilt or to suggest that leaving was wrong, because only you know the full reality of why you left and what it cost you to make that decision and what it would have cost you to stay. Only you know whether the leaving was the right choice for your own life and your own well-being. Those things belong to you completely. But I want you to understand the weight of what your presence was to this person. Because sometimes when we leave something, we do not fully have access to what we meant within it. We see it from the inside, from the perspective of someone navigating its difficulties and its limitations and the specific ways it was not serving them. And from that perspective, the weight of what we are to the other person can feel abstract or uncertain or simply not fully real. Spirit is removing that uncertainty today. Your presence was not peripheral to this person's life. It was not something they could accommodate the loss of without significant disruption to the interior landscape of their daily experience. What you were to them was significant, specific, irreplaceable in the sense that nothing else quite fills the shape of the space you occupied. That does not mean leaving was wrong. It means leaving had real weight, and this person is feeling every ounce of that weight right now. Inhale with me, Virgo. I want to speak to something about you in the context of all of this, because this reading is not only about what is happening to them, it is about what is happening to you as the person who made the decision that created this situation. Leaving, even when it is the right thing, even when it is necessary, even when staying would have been more costly than going, is not free. It has its own weight, its own grief, its own specific complexity of feeling that does not resolve simply because the decision was made from a place of clarity and genuine necessity. You have been carrying something too, not identical to what they are carrying, but real. Perhaps the weight of a decision that was necessary but not painless. Perhaps the specific grief of something that you genuinely cared about, that was genuinely real at its best, not being what it needed to be. Perhaps the complexity of knowing that someone you once loved or still love in some form is in pain, and that you are the reason for the pain, even though the alternative, staying when staying was wrong, would have been its own form of pain. Spirit sees what you have been carrying on your side of this, and it matters, and it deserves acknowledgement alongside everything that is being said about their experience. I want to speak now to what is building in this person in terms of what they are going to do with everything they are feeling. Because the mess they are in is not static. It is moving towards something. The love that has nowhere to go, the replaying of memories, the cannot believe it is forever quality of their current reality, all of it is building toward an expression, toward a point where what is being felt internally becomes impossible to continue holding without some form of external action. For some of you, this person has already attempted contact, a message sent that maybe you saw or maybe you did not fully respond to. An attempt to open a line of communication that the forever of your leaving seemed to close. An expression of what they are feeling that came out sideways, not quite directly enough to be the full truth of what they need to say. For others, the attempt is coming, building toward a moment where they decide that the cost of not reaching out is higher than the vulnerability of reaching out, where the mess they are in becomes uncomfortable enough that the risk of contact feels more bearable than the continuation of the current silence. What they want to say when they reach you is not a negotiation, not a set of arguments for why things should be different. What they want to say is simpler and more vulnerable than that. They want you to know what you meant, what you still mean. They want you to know that the love was real, even when the expression of it was inadequate. They want you to know that the forever of it, the cannot believe it is actually forever quality of where they are, comes from a genuine place, from the specific reality of someone who loves you with the full consuming specific intensity that this reading has been describing. Whether that knowing changes anything for you is entirely yours to determine, but the saying of it is coming because it needs to be said. And they have reached the point where needing to say something becomes stronger than fearing the response. As I bring this reading toward its close, I want to leave you with something that I feel needs to be said with care and with honesty. Your life, after leaving whatever chapter you are in or moving toward, belongs to you fully. The knowledge that someone loves you with this intensity, that they are a mess over your absence, that the forever feels unbelievable to them, does not obligate you to any particular response or any particular reopening of what you decided to close. Your decision was yours. Your life is yours. And nothing in this reading is asking you to reverse what you chose based on the weight of someone else's feeling. What this reading is offering is simply the full picture, the complete truth of what exists on the other side of your leaving. Not to create guilt or pressure or a false sense of responsibility for managing someone else's pain, but because you deserve to understand the full reality of the situations you are navigating rather than only the dimension of them that is directly visible to you. Someone loves you, Virgo, deeply, specifically, with the kind of consuming, burning, nowhere to put it love that does not fade quickly or redirect easily or become manageable in the ordinary time frame. And the loss of you has made that love louder rather than quieter. You can hold that truth and still honor your own. You can know what you meant to them and still know what was right for you. Both things are real simultaneously, and you are more than capable of holding both. Trust yourself in whatever comes next, in however you navigate what is building toward you from their direction, in whatever you ultimately decide when the contact comes. You know what you need, and what you need is what matters most. If this reading touched something real in you today, please share it with a Virgo who needs to feel this energy, and leave me a comment below. Tell me how this landed. Tell me what you are feeling as you sit with the knowing that someone is a mess over your leaving. Tell me how you are navigating the complexity of all of this. I read every single word you share. Every story matters to me deeply, and I carry your energy with genuine care long after this video ends. Until next time, Virgo, you were loved. You are loved. And that love does not require you to do anything with it except to know that it is real. What you do from that knowing is entirely and beautifully yours.